We're here for our first destination today on our road trip. We couldn't say much about it before. We are at the press launch for the British Motor Show.
The Motor Show, it's a live stage entertainment show. It's going to be a technology show. It's going to be an EV and alternative fuel show. We've got the Imperial Cars Live Arena.
Hi, we're here with Andy Entwistle and Shazad Sheikh from the Brown Car Guy, and we're just going to have a quick chat about the return of the British Motor Show. Welcome. First of all, thank you so much for inviting us to this press launch today. We're very excited to be here.
Welcome. Thanks for coming along.
I think one of the incredible things about today, Annabelle, if you agree, is that it wasn't just a press launch, was it? It was. I think one of the things we're trying to talk about with this motor show is the fact that it's an interactive live experience.
Yeah.
And this press event was kind of a mini encapsulation of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what we were trying to do. Is the whole point about this show is it's dynamic and it's more than just a motor show. And we thought, how do we do that? Well, we'll show people a little bit about what it's about. And getting Paul out there to do this has just been brilliant.
It has been. So I've got to ask, how did this start? How did you get involved with bringing this back in such an interactive format?
I've loved motor shows since I was little. And I remember going to the motor shows. Well, that's what got me into the shows. And when the British Motor Show died, a little bit of me died as well.
Yeah, it feels like our heritage was just a little bit,
It's gone, and what you talk to people, you talk to car lovers, you talk to the industry. People lament the death of the show, and they say, "Oh, we wish it was back." And I remember going with my family, and I thought we should bring this back. And alongside of that, people talk about the motor shows in Paris and Frankfurt, and they're struggling. And I think, well, the reason they're struggling is that they've not changed. So I decided I want to do this. I'm going to bring it back. I think it's great for the industry. I think it's great for people. I want to create a new group of petrol heads or electric heads, whatever we're going to call them now. But we've got to do it differently.
And I think this is the key thing about, and the thing is, you're not just coming at this afresh, are you? Because you've had years of experience, doing the other shows. And so, what have you learned along the way that sort of, is this the big one? Is this what it's all culminated towards?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. This is exactly what it's come to. What I learned along the way is just that it's content. Consumers these days, they don't just want to look at something. They want to feel it. They want to taste it. They want to experience it. And I've learned along the way what really works, like the live stage and the interactive and the accessibility. Like having the celebs who just sit and talk to you, and you can stop them in the hall and get a photograph and things like that. Really excites people. Seeing supercars in an arena rather than just static. And I realised that that's what this is all about. Creating a day where everybody just feels like they've had a load of fun. So this really is the pinnacle of everything I've learned over the last few years. Yeah.
It does seem that you're bringing everything from what made the British Motor Show, into the 21st and 22nd century to make it, as you say, as accessible for all.
Yeah.
And joining everybody up from all of the old school to the new school.
Well, that's the idea behind past, present and future. Let's look at the past, because we all love some of the classic cars, and let's talk about the stars of the shows in the past, because there's that emotion and that passion there. So we've got that, and then you'll come and look at what are the future stars, and then of course we've got to look at what's coming up in the future and all the technology, and also manufacturers want that. So we're going to get the manufacturers on board. They're going to want to talk about the next generation. So I hope we've created a real journey of automotion.
I think one of the key issues that we face is and you touched on this in your excellent presentation that you did, that people of our generation, we grew up with motor shows. That's where a lot of us were inspired, and and we couldn't wait to get our first car and get a driving license. But we're not seeing that in the current generation, are we? So what's the sort of key thing that you might be able to entice them away from their phones and to come to this motor show and get excited about cars again?
No, you're right, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do. Is that I think that the younger generation have fallen out of love with the car. I think they're partly priced out of it a little at the moment, and we need to get them passionate again. How do we do that? Put them in cars. So we've got the under 7 out here. We're going to have the under 17 driving experience, where children from the age of 10 to 17 can come and actually experience cars first and they can drive them. We've got the kids zone, we've got go-karting. I want to get them that feeling of that speed and
tactile,
that excitement.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's got to smell it, taste it, feel it, burn it. Yes.
At the moment.
No, let's not burn it.
Well, let's not. Well, Paul will be burning the rubber.
That's around the back of the estate,
I saw the smoke that was coming off your donuts. Sorry, that was a lot of smoke.
I think the key thing for this as well is that you're right. A lot of youngsters, they're sitting in front of their laptops, they're driving cars online without any understanding of what it's actually like to really drive a car.
Yeah.
Let's
Funnily
get them in a
enough,
car.
You're not going to believe this. Funnily enough, we were actually putting some live footage out whilst there were some donuts, yes. And one of our
You're looking
followers
at me.
actually, yes, you. One of our followers actually said to Bessie, going, "You're driving that better than I do on Forza."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're talking
And
about.
that is exactly it. And I want to move away from that. These guys who think it's great to drive in Forza, right, come and drive
Do
it
the
in
real
real
thing.
life. Get that passion. And and I remember, we go back. When we went to the motor shows, that was that passion. And as soon as I was old enough, I got my car, and it was a terrible car because that's all I could afford.
But it was a car.
But it was,
right?
and it was
Your
mine.
car.
It was yours, yeah,
it was my
exactly,
freedom,
yeah.
and I modified it. And my modifications were probably terrible, but it was mine.
learned.
Halford specials.
Absolutely.
Hey, Halfords he sorted us all out. once or
Absolutely,
twice.
they're one of the best stores in the world for me.
That's a free plug for them. By the way.
There we go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Halfords, we love you.
Yeah.
Feel the love.
But that's the point. We want to breed a new generation of children that have that passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's only the motor show, but I think it was a big part of the loss of the motor show. Lost that, so I think we can really help influence it.
So, new motor show, new venue. I mean, this
Yeah.
is an incredible place that you've got
Fantastic,
here.
isn't it?
This is Farnborough. One of the cool things about it is, as we were out there today, planes are coming in, planes are taking
Yeah.
off. Tell us about this venue and what's inspired you to come here?
I've used this venue in the past, and I know that the team are fantastic. So I knew that we had a team on board, and this is a partnership with the venue. So it literally was, what do you want to do? We can make it happen. And you don't often get that from venues. It's a great location. And Farnborough is kind of seen as a bit of a tech hub these days. So it reflects that. The venue, obviously, it hosts the air show, and they build up amazing infrastructure for the air show, and then they leave, and we take it over. So we get
It's a month apart, isn't
it's
it?
a month
Next year's
apart,
calendar, yeah.
but we come in and we take over all of the structure that they leave behind. So that gives us these 3 huge halls, and it gives us all of this space. So we've got 4 acres of outside space. We've got 2 kilometres of test drive, 40,000 square metres, and more if we want that. No other venue we went to could give us that. So it's the best of all the worlds, and the team here is just amazing.
Yeah, we have a lot of love for Farnborough.
Yeah.
And I can see why you've made it your home here. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So are there any little surprises that you are keeping under your hat that we could nag you about?
There are a number. There's the content. You've got a flavour of the content. In the next few weeks,
We've
we'll
had
be
a taster,
Yeah.
yes.
So we'll be confirming some of the names behind some of that content. We've got some exciting news next week about our headline sponsor, and that's a really great brand for us. We've got some more news about the arena, who's going to be in charge of the arena. The drifting out there. We've got a great manufacturer that's ready to support us for the drifting, and that's going to be fantastic. So we'll be announcing that. And then I think the tech hall is the big thing. And I'm talking to a number of companies now.
I will keep nagging
No,
you.
but there will be some great stories, and it's not just the people that you would expect to be there. But there's an awful lot of other companies that are really getting behind this. And I think people are just on board with what we're trying to do here. So yeah, so some really exciting stuff to come.
And just before your voice goes, because I know you've had a busy day today.
Yes, you have.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you giving us this time. But the other thing about the motor show used to be about the manufacturers, but I think one of the things you're doing is making this a community event. So there's clubs that are going to be invited,
Yep.
and people will be able to just bring their own cars and display here, right?
Absolutely. I think it's really important manufacturers, and this is the challenge for me, is to re-engage with them and get them on board. And we've had a few of them here today, and hopefully they see what we're trying to do. So this is not like one of these big leviathans of a show that's going to cost them a lot of money. They come here and make it about their cars. So manufacturers are key to us, but content-wise, the owners' clubs bring great content, and these owners love their cars. The Classic Hall, I think, is a really important part for this, because we'll have owners' clubs in there. We've got modified cars, we've got movie cars, we've got motorsport, and then outside, a lot of the owners' clubs, we're talking to them about offering their members turn up and park kind of facilities. So we'll have a kind of a paddock outside. So the MG Owners Club or the Lamborghini Owners Club, their members might come down on the Saturday, and we'll give them space to park their vehicles, because to us, that's another great bit of content.
Momentum I can see is already starting to build.
Yep.
Where do you want this to be in 5 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I want this to be where the British Motor Show was before. I want it to be an absolute stalwart of the calendar. So we all know that every August the British Motor Show is there, and after
It's the
one
place
show,
to
we're
be.
already working on the next one. Well, I know
And it will be an
we're gonna
annual event. It's not-
Absolutely, an annual event. Yeah, you know, it's not. I think biannually was part of the problem with the old show, and that's why it lost momentum, because you forget about it. So it's got to be an annual event. It's going to be big. It's going to be accessible. It's going to be, the biggest thing in the calendar.
And last but not least, a lot of you are going to be wondering, how much is this going to cost you? Andy?
We're making it accessible. We want everyone to be able to come along. A family ticket for 4 is under £40. It's just £37. Adult tickets are £18.50. So it's accessible. It's not, actually, you can get a family of 4 to come along cheaper than you can go to the cinema, I think. It's
true. Well, there you go.
There you go.
So it's
and
a
it's a whole
no-brainer.
day.
Absolutely.
It's a family day out, and it's going to be so much fun.
And we are doing launch ticket pricing. So from launch, which is tomorrow, Wednesday the 20th, until just before Christmas, there'll be 25% off all tickets.
Ooh, get in there.
Incentives. Yeah. Book early.
Thank you very much, Andy, for talking to us. Planet Auto, Brown Car Guy, and Andy. We're very excited about this motor show. Yes. From what we've seen today, yes, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible day out, or several days out.
We've already had a blast today, and we've only had the smallest of tasters of where this is going and the interactivity, and it's just blown us away today. Excellent. Thank you so much.
There you go. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy, guys. Brilliant.